If you could identify the one thing holding your business back and then go all in on fixing it, would your business grow faster? Well, the answer is yes, but most business owners have no idea how because they either don't track data or track it and have no idea how to use it to grow their business, which means they find running and growing their business 10 times harder than it needs to be. So in this video, I'm going to show you an incredibly simple way to track data in your business, how to use it to pinpoint the one thing that's holding your business back, and then how to go all in on solving it so you can scale your business while working less. So let me show you how all this works. Think of your business like a pipe with water flowing through it. That pipe has a number of sections which represent the major systems in your business. So we have marketing, sales, operations, and finance. Water flows through the pipe, entering as leads, turning into customers, getting delivered to, exiting as profit. Now, the goal in business is to get as much water through this pipe as possible, but imagine you had two blockages in the pipe, let's say one in sales and one in marketing. Well, they're going to limit the amount of water that can flow through and in turn how much you can grow your business, because it doesn't matter how much water you pour into the pipe, when it's blocked, more won't come out the other side. So your business is always going to have blockages in its pipe. Some will be big, some will be small, but for your business to grow, you need to both find them and fix them. Which, that sounds super simple, but most entrepreneurs do two things wrong, which stops them from doing this. Firstly, they guess what their blockages are. For example, they might think their blockage is in their close rate, but really it's in their show up rate. So they can do whatever they want to fix their close rate. It's not going to make any difference to their business because that's not the thing that's holding them back. The second thing they do wrong is they try to fix everything at once, which leads to you and your team being spread thin and distracted. So you end up fixing nothing, getting nowhere. It's a waste of effort because there's a systematic law called the theory of constraints. This states that there's only ever one constraint limiting your business, and this is crucial to understand because look, your business will have multiple blockages in its pipe, it just will, but only one of those blockages is the real limiting factor. So, for example, if you imagine the two blockages, one in marketing, one in sales, which is more important to fix for maximizing the flow of water through the pipe? Likely, it's going to be the marketing constraint. As if you have a close rate of 20%, there's no point trying to get it up to 30% when you only get 2 fucking sales calls a month. That's a marketing issue. That's your constraint. That's the blockage. It's not your sales problem. So for you to grow your business in the most effective and efficient way possible and, without working 12-hour days, you need two things. You need to know exactly what your constraint is, and you need to go all in on fixing it until it is solved. So with that, how do you find your constraint? Well, for that, you need to track data. So let me show you the easiest way to track data in your business. And one of the biggest mistakes that business owners make when it comes to data is just tracking random data that means nothing, which we don't want to do, obviously, okay? You want to track data that is specific to you and your business so you can actually use it to improve your business. And the way you do that is you track the data for each of the major systems in your business. So if you remember from my pipe analogy, every business has 4 major functions. We have marketing to get leads, sales to turn leads into customers, operations to deliver your product or service, and then finance to manage your cash flow and profitability. Now, if you have a bigger business, you might have functions like HR, etc., but every business has those 4 core functions, those 4 core systems. You want to create a spreadsheet for each of those systems so you can track the data for that system. Now, I have a template. I normally keep it for my clients, but to save you a ton of work, I'll leave a link in the description below. You can go get it. Obviously, it is a template, so it'll need a bit of customization for your specific business. But if you don't know how to do that, just ask your favorite robot overlord and it'll tell you. But how those spreadsheets work is you have a tab for each month along the bottom and a tab for the entire year. The yearly tab shows you the average or total of each metric for each month. This is all built out in the template and automated already. The only thing you'll have to do here is change whether it tracks the average or total for that metric. So if a metric is a percentage, like a conversion rate, you want to track the average. If the metric is a raw number, you want to track the total. Now, in each month's tab, you'll see the dates. So if it's Monday, the 20th of July, you want to come into that scorecard and you want to enter the data for each metric on that date. So if this is marketing and one of the metrics I'm tracking is number of pieces of content I've posted, I'll come in and enter 1 or 2 or whatever that number is for today under that column in that row for today's date. Now, that is how you track the data, okay? That's all there is to it. You just enter the number for that metric on that date. It's super simple, but you might be thinking, Ross, what fucking data do I track? You haven't told me that. Well, what you need to do is map out your major systems that we talked about earlier, because the whole goal of data is to show you how well that system is performing. Hence, your data needs to be specific and based on your systems, based on how your business operates, which means you need to map out your systems. Now, I recommend doing this in the likes of Canva whiteboard. And what you want to do is you want to list every single task in your business Then you want to sort each task under the relevant system based on the goal of that task. So, for example, if a task is done to get leads, it goes under marketing, where the purpose of that system is to get leads. Once you've done that, you want to go through each task or process in your system and ask, what metric can I track to show me if this is performing well? Now, sometimes this will be super obvious, sometimes it won't, but that is the general mantra you want to, follow here. One thing to know though is that you'll want to essentially track 3 types of metrics. So depending on the task, you might want to track an input. So, ad spent, that's how much you did or spent, because the input metrics show you what you're doing, which is really good to know, because let's say you're posting only 1 piece of content every week, or you're only spending £5 a day on ads. So you know your input is low, and therefore you can't expect to get good results from that. And therefore you can make the decision, okay, I'm going to post more content, I'm going to run more ads or have higher ad spend, whatever solution you decide is appropriate based on your problems. But this can show you how much you're doing and how consistently you're doing it. Then you might also want to track a conversion percentage to know if what you're doing is good. So for example, CTR in ads, if you have a low CTR percentage on your ads click-through rate, well, that tells you that your ad or targeting is probably shit and you need to improve it. And thirdly, you want to track the goal output of each system. So in marketing, you want to track how many leads you're generating from all your marketing efforts. That way, you know if what you're doing for marketing is actually working, if the content, of the ads, of the emails, if they're actually working to get you leads. Because you might have a high volume, you might have great conversion percentages or click-through rates or whatever it is, but it might not be getting you leads. And therefore, as much as it can look good, it's not actually good. So you want to make sure you're tracking the goal output of each system. Whatever you decide to track though, update the metrics in that system scorecard and start tracking them. And for this system level scorecard, I recommend filling it in every day. And if you have a team, get them to do it. So if you have a marketing guy, get him to track the marketing metrics every day for you. Now, obviously, this is only a brief overview of mapping out your systems, and there's a lot more nuance and strategies you can implement with this for operational efficiency, data, delegation, and scaling. So if you want me to help you fully systemize your business so you can get out of the day-to-day and your business can run without relying on you, there'll be a link in the description below. You can click it, find out more information by working with me. But once you have all the data for your systems, you'll notice that there's quite a lot of numbers floating about, okay? Let me show you an easy way to remove all that noise and overwhelm so you can analyze the data and find your constraints so much easier. So what you want to do is create what's called a business scorecard. So those other spreadsheets are your system level scorecards, and they track the data for each system. Whereas the business scorecard is the high level view of your entire business, where you can see the most important things at a glance. And how it works is very similar, okay? You have the yearly tab that shows you the average or total for each month of the year, and you have the monthly tabs. Only this time the monthly tabs track weekly, not daily data. And so the goal here is you come in here every week and you track the data for the past week for each metric. Now, I'm a firm believer that your system scorecards can be filled in by anybody, but if you want a true pulse and a true understanding of your business and the direction it's going in and the problems you have, you need to manually track the data in the business scorecard, okay? So don't get someone else to do it. Don't automate it. Just do it yourself, okay? Don't be lazy. It takes 5 minutes and it's one of the most important things you can do to have a true grasp of your business. Now, as for the metrics that you track in this business scorecard, what you'll notice is that we have your 4 major systems in it. So we have your finances, your marketing, your sales, your operations. Now, I've pre-chosen the finance metrics in the template. You can change them if you want, but they're basically the same in every business. But for the other systems, you want to choose the 3 most important metrics. So this is typically an input metric, what you do, a conversion percentage, and the goal output metric. Now these metrics can change every few quarters or year. Obviously, it's up to you what these are, and it really depends on your business. But once you figure out what they're going to be for you, update the metrics in this system scorecard, and every week you come into this spreadsheet, you update the data based on the data from the system scorecards for that past week. And one thing you'll notice on both scorecards is that we have a goal row. This is for you to set a goal for each metric, where you want it to be, okay? Which will obviously depend on your business, your systems, your industry, but this is crucial to do. Now, with these 2 incredibly simple tools, you can track all the data in your business in your system level scorecards, and you can see the most important things in your business at a glance using your business scorecard. So that is how you track data, but how do you use it to find your constraint, the thing that's holding your business back? Well, let me show you. Firstly, you want to have at least 60 to 90 days of data before you start looking for your constraint, because otherwise you probably won't have enough data for it to be accurate. It might just be noise, because data has fluctuations in the day-to-day, okay? It's going to go up and down. It's never going to be the exact same each day. Hence, we want the longer time frame of data before we make decisions. But once you do have it, to find your bottleneck, you want to open up your business scorecard. You want to look at the yearly tab. Now, the reason we want to look at the yearly tab is because of those fluctuations that data can have. So if you look at data on a day-to-day or even a week-to-week basis, it won't be a true representation of where your business is, because like I said, data will go up and down each day and each week. Hence, we have the yearly tabs because it shows you your business through a much more accurate lens. Now, when you're looking at the yearly tab, your bottleneck is typically going to be the metric that is furthest below its goal and earliest in the system. Now, of course, the only way to really know what your constraint is to look at your data, but a good rule of thumb is to look for the metric that is furthest below the goal, earliest in the system. Then when you find that metric in your business scorecard, you open up the system scorecard, okay? So if the bottleneck looks to be in marketing based on your business scorecard data, you open up your marketing scorecard, and again, you look at the yearly tab and you repeat, you look for the metric that is furthest below the goal, earliest in the system in that system scorecard, and that will pinpoint your constraints. So your business scorecard, it gives you the high level view and it removes the noise and the overwhelm, which makes it easy to see not only the general direction that your business is going in, but it helps you pinpoint the general area of your constraint. You can then dive into the relevant system scorecard for a more detailed look and properly identify your constraint. So now you know how to find your constraint. How on earth do you solve it? Well, most business owners try to fix everything at once, which leads to you fixing nothing and getting nowhere, because how systems work is, like I said earlier, they operate under the theory of constraints where there is only one constraint. So do not try to fix two constraints at once, because there isn't two, there is one. And this way you'll be able to direct all your focus and your relevant team members' focus into fixing one thing, so you can fix it properly, you can fix it fast, and you can actually make progress rather than getting nowhere. We're not just trying to mindlessly solve problems just to grow your business. We're trying to learn and grow and become a better business owner, because that is the only way you can grow your business. You have to be a better business owner, and you can't do that if you're trying to fix everything at once. So to fix your constraint, you want to obviously identify it, then you come up with a solution. What that solution is depends entirely on your business and your constraint. So you will just have to figure that out. But once you have a solution, you implement it, you follow the scientific method where you only change one variable, one thing again, so that we can learn what works and become a better business owner. And as you implement the solution, you analyze the data for the next 30 to 60 to 90 days. That depends on how much volume you have flowing through your system. And if the metric is improving, you keep the solution. If the metric doesn't improve, you check the metric is still your constraint, then try another solution. The best thing about this, right, is that you no longer have to guess what to fix or if it's working. You simply follow the data, you fuck around, you find out. Like, that's all business is, okay? It's how you become a great business owner. You try something, you analyze the data, you learn, you repeat. Obviously, the quality of your data and decisions depends entirely on how well your systems are built. So if you want to see the exact process that I use in my clients to systemize their business, click the video on screen now.